what they talk about at Butterworth in the evening, that I see a lot more of that than I see of like the political stuff, which is like we spend all day in the sort of public arena doing the bullfighting of politics and putting on the show. And let's talk about food. Let's talk about wine. Let's talk about books. Let's talk about movies, art. Let's talk about literally anything else.
And I think it kind of represents the evolution of MAGA, right? This is a more
Mm.
intellectual spot, and that might surprise people that MAGA is now gravitating towards that. But we see more and more intellectuals coming into the fold.
Yeah.
And so was that part of the calculus when you were coming up with this concept that politics was shifting and that these people were homeless in DC in terms of the restaurant scene?
I want to like confidently say, yes, I'm a genius. I saw all of this coming. But the honest to God answer is like, this is just the only thing I know how to do. So my first few restaurants were a lot like this. They just didn't happen to have the same crowd. They had a different crowd. So I wish I'd planned that, but you're absolutely right that they are, that there is a big difference between this administration and the last administration. I had restaurants during the first administration,
During the first Trump administration.
and these people weren't there. Right. The watering holes. I mean, Trump Hotel was this sort of like massive
That was ground zero.
gravitational pull.
Yeah.
And even then, like, I don't want to sound like I'm talking bad about a restaurant that's closed, because that is a mean thing to do. But like, it was Johnny Walker Black. It was like ribeyes. There was still steak sauce and all of those things. And what you saw was a movement of like outsiders that had taken over. And we're sort of like grappling to get power. And now you see a much more sophisticated group of people who have gone from being outsiders that wanted power to people who actively have power. And I'm watching them in real time sort of learn how to carry themselves in that way. And I think there's a huge jump that's happening. I think like, you know, a lot of these people during the first administration, Trump Hotel, a handful of dive bars, there's a place called Harry's that a lot of sort of like the real outsiders were at. And now we're sort of in this circle, and you see like, you know, Scott Besant's a very serious person. There's more of that on their movement. They have intellectuals behind them, and they're learning how to carry themselves with the power that they now hold.